Okay, so welcome to everybody, and a special thanks to Tamara for inviting me to do this webinar on behalf of her team. I do these fairly regularly, so it's something that's great that is just involving your own team. And as it is just for your organisation, it's also an opportunity. When I do start talking, it's quite difficult for me to look at the questions. So every so often, I will look to see if you've got any questions in there. But don't be offended if I haven't read them because, yeah, it's impossible for me to do that and talk um, at the one time. So let's get started. And so I've got a training program organised for you that's fairly generic and it's fairly simple, but it always, like with anything that I ever do, no matter what training focus that I have, in opening up your mind and opening up the eyes within yourself to the opportunity. Because you know what, like anything that we can listen to a whole lot of words over and over again, but until the desire comes before the decision. And you need to make that decision that you're going to learn something from what we are going to be sharing today, do something with what we're going to learn today as well. And it gives what you do with your business a purpose. But I also want to make very clear that it's a very simple business. I don't like complicating it. And so you're going to learn simple words and skills along the way. But firstly, as I said, the desire starts first. You've got to really have that got to want to attitude, and no matter what attitude, with when you goal for something. And that goal mightn't be, the big greatness of executive right now. It could be just goaling for advanced consultant to lead consultant, or it could very well be goaling for executive and into those greater heights. It could be to get to team manager, to get to the Friday night dinner, whatever it might be. That's the decision that you make. That's where you want to go. And the important part of that is making sure then that you don't let yourself off the hook. You make sure that that decision is a no matter what decision. And that then forces you to get into new behaviours. And it's like, I am going to be that person, and it causes the determination. And if you have been to any of my trainings, I talk about, having a purpose, and your name, you might be Lauren Vidler. Okay, so Lauren with a purpose, and Lauren is determined to get to whatever level that might be. Now, you might wonder, why do I talk about rank advancement and talk about levels? Because you see, that's where the money is. That's where the income is. That's where all great things happen along the way. And so that's when you need to then know that by having that rank, that's the goal. And within any business, and you wouldn't be on the call if you weren't keen. I know that. There's no point. You can go and watch Ellen, you can go and do something else. So I know already that you've got that motivation. But when you are goaling for a rank, it gives you that real drive and ambition, and it's a benchmark. It's got income in it, and with income comes choices for what you can spend with that income. So the decision makes you and forces you to find the time. And in finding the time, and I know that you've allocated a certain amount of time for your Jamboree business, but when you find that time, you've then got to commit to that time, and don't again multi-skill with that time. So with that time, if it's say a power hour that you organise, it might be when your children are asleep, or it might be then at night time once they are in bed at night, or it could be that you're a working person, you allow your lunch break, or when you get home, if you're a teacher, when you get home from school. I can't tell you when your time is allocated, but what I can tell you, make sure that you know in advance what you're going to do in that time, and not just find, oh, this is the time for my Jamboree business, what am I going to do now? Because that then leads you to go and do things that aren't really income producing activity, which could be just sort of having a look at Facebook, having a look at your web stats, all those sorts of things. So when you've got that time allocated, really, really get into it straight away. Have a list of people to call. Have a list of things that you do need to do. Have a list of follow-ups from your samples, or whatever that might look like. I've always organised in my career. I obviously, once your kiddies are at school, you can do 3-hour lots. It's harder when they're not, and when they're at home, you might have those little power hours along the way. But, in working your business in 3-hour lots of time is really, really productive. And it might just be, it's when, you might make the decision that, you've got a 2 or 3-year-old and you might put them in daycare just that one day. They love daycare anyway. We didn't have that opportunity when I was growing up with my kiddies, but, I know with my grandchildren how great that might be. And then if you are doing that, really make that productive. And then, your children are learning something at the same time with interaction with others. So again, creating the time and having that decision and making that decision and desire forces you to find the time, but nothing happens without the decision first. And then when you've got that decision, you'll learn the new skills, you'll get into action, you'll commit to what you need to do. And we always need to celebrate. And in celebrating, it's being able to give yourself a pat on the back, telling everybody what your goal and your decision is. It could just be that you might say, to your family or say to your friends, you might have been just coasting along for a little bit. Maybe your business is flatlined slightly. And you might then how do you then start shouting out to people? It might just be, hey, I've made the decision to take my business to the next level, and I would really love you to support me. And one of the things I'm going to do is relaunching my business. If you got on my call last Friday, the September coaching, I actually mentioned that. And it's a really great thing to do is if your business is a little bit flatlined, is reboot your business by starting again and having a starting again mentality. And then, of course, with telling everybody, they then are part of the path and they will help you create things happen and they'll be proud of you, and then they could be part of the celebration. And, celebrating could be all sorts of things. It might be shouting yourself a nice pair of shoes. It could be shouting your family, going out for dinner or Macca's or whatever it might be that rocks your boat. But make sure, though, that celebration comes into it, because rewarding yourself, in any mainstream job, we don't get rewarded. In a job like we have, the company rewards you with all of our recognitions along the way, but there's nothing better than you personally rewarding yourself and being able to say, Cheryl, you did a good job. Good on you. And that private pat on the back that you can give yourself is unconditional. And maybe I'm a bit crazy, but I used to really enjoy the fact that I could inspect my business and look on it and say, you know what, you did a good job today. You really did your best today. And that's just your own personal pat on the back. So what I want to talk about now, and this is something that obviously is really, really close to my heart. So you can see there's a whole lot of dollar signs there. So I'm going to be talking about the money. There's nothing wrong with money as far as I'm concerned. And I think the thing I love most about money with the direct selling business is it is a benchmark of your success. And that's where, all the good things happen. So, as a company, we can put on sunglasses, we can put on hats and handbags and all sorts of things that can really excite you, to reach that level, to get those sunglasses. But, and that's not going to go away. But you've got to look at your business if that wasn't there. If there wasn't a promotion, what does your business look like? And this is when you build into momentum. And momentum happens without you even knowing it's happening, because it is self-imploding as a result of people in your organisation consistently working. But if you're working only when the promotions are on, you'll get the peaks and troughs. Now, in September, I can't let you know a lot of the surprises. We have got a really exciting month planned for you, but you don't wait for things like that to happen. We know that Disney is getting fairly close, but we still haven't got a sealed date yet, and that's very frustrating for us as a company. But I did have a conversation with someone recently saying, I'm not going to get in touch with my hostesses until I know we've got Disney. And that is so crazy. That is so crazy, because you've got a second slice of going back onto them. And maybe Disney may not be the panacea. It may not be, the be-all and end-all of your business, because to be very honest, your bread and butter is the 300 wraps and all the other extension products that we've got right now. So I guess knowing what I'm saying is, don't delay success for the what if or when it happens situation. Work every day as if this is the day that I'm going to succeed. And this is where consistency works along the way, where, you regularly do certain behaviours. And then that's when I can say, if you tweak those behaviours and improve on them, you can't improve on something that you don't have a benchmark for. So let's talk about the compensation plan. It gives you financial independence. And it is, and you hear me say on the opportunity calls, and I am a real straight shooter, seriously here, it is the most lucrative compensation plan. I know it's creating millionaires, and there's a lot of companies where they don't. It's not lucrative enough to do that. I've actually worked with a company only fairly recently that I was consulting to prior to coming into Jamboree, and exactly the same sales results that, say, then the likes of, say, Tamara would do with her organisation, it would be around about a third of what she would earn with another quite big company that's out there. Obviously, I'm not going to share the company, but quite a big company that's out there in Australia today, and that is the honest truth. So It is a really lucrative plan. What I love more than anything, though, are the small steps. So for you right now, you've obviously on this call, you've gone past your fast starts, but when someone's new and when they're joining, that fast start program is creating the behaviors of someone getting to lead consultants, and then going from lead, the leaps up to team manager are really duplicating what they've done already. And then when they bring in people, what they've done already. But it also comes with sponsoring activity. We need to raise the bar of that. And so I'm going to share with you, first off with the compensation plan, is about having an income goal. And that income goal is not just a monthly goal, have a weekly income goal. So I don't know of many companies out there that pay weekly as well as monthly. I personally haven't been involved in any company that's paid weekly. So I love the fact that this is paid weekly as well as monthly. So what if it was $100 a week? Every Friday they got $100. What if it was $200? What if it was $300? So, okay, the weekly income is on your personal activity, and so raise the bar of that activity. And so I will be talking about raising the bar of the party average that you have as well. But let's first off raise the bar of your own personal activity in any particular week. So and it is every week. You don't want to get paid every other Friday. You want to get paid every Friday. And it is motivating to get that money in the account. And if you've got a partner at home, especially if he's a man, they like to see the money. They don't like to see you working hard without rewards. Don't also over exaggerate I've worked all day in my Jamboree business, and then all of a sudden he doesn't see the money. So make sure then that when you're working, it is income producing activity working. You can multi-skill when you want to look at Facebook and things like that, but don't multi-skill when you're allowing for your income producing activity. So as a company, then our compensation plan with our personal sales, our reward with commission is between 30 and 40%. Now that also is one of the highest in the industry. In my 22 years working, the pavement I call it, and doing all the parties that I did, and the volume of sales that I did, and again, way back then, you can imagine the difference in the dollar. I was actually personally selling over $250,000 a year just in my own sales. And so, that to me is such a massive income. But I was on 22.5%. And when I reached a certain threshold, I got 25%. So, okay, I always reach that threshold, and that was selling $5,000 a month. Myself and my team got 25%. So that was a pretty lean compensation plan. And I only got paid on level 1 of my organisation. No, that company's not around anymore. But I'm just saying though, that's how hard I worked to get that 22.5 and to get that 25%. So I guess then with my experience, I look at 30 and 40%. I think, wow, that is just so super cool. But, why get 30 when you can get 40? It's like saying, Tamara, I want you to be average. I don't want you to be great. I just want an average person in my team. But you see, that's what you're saying to yourself when you choose 30% and not 40%. So what have you got to do to get 40%? Okay, it might seem a big stretch, the 3,000 PRV, but you know what? If you have a party plan mentality, because we're a hybrid where we've got an MLM structure with the party plan side of things, if you really embrace the fact that we have got that high structure, 3,000 is not a lot. It's so, if I was to say, doing 10 parties in a month, I was doing 22 to 25 parties a week. Now, I'm not here to show off about that. I just did that. That was the norm. I didn't see that was unusual. And, and that was the style of company that it was. It was very sales focused driven. So that was the norm. So if I sort of saw it doing 10 parties of an average of 300 PRV in a month, I personally would say that is really super cool and not difficult to do. So let's raise the bar of your expectations, and maybe then if you find that daunting and you think, oh, Barbara, go away, that's pressure you're giving me. I can't speak to anybody on any training call without raising the bar of the expectations that you and everybody have within themselves if you want it enough and if you can find the time. The great thing is with technology now, we didn't have the opportunity of online parties. So I had to physically get in the car and go to a destination and do my setting up and do everything you do with a home party. but, didn't have the mobile phone, couldn't sort of ring up if I was running late and all those sort of things. And everything was done by posting, and there's no online ordering at all. So now I'm putting myself back in the archives. But remember, I've kept up to date with technology because I've needed to with the modern companies and young ones that I'm working with right now. So I love the fact that you have got the opportunity of doing both. So if you've got a time in your life when obviously you can't do as many as 10 home parties, what about then looking at doing 6 home parties and 4 online parties? But what we do need to do is recognise that you do need to have some of that balance. Has got to be home parties. It's got to be physically face-to-face, belly-to-belly, talking to people, because that's definitely where the relationship is built. When you're building a VIP group, when they've just been met, online, they won't be loyal necessarily to you. They'll be loyal to the next person that invites them to purchase their Jamboree product. So, okay, so back onto what I was leading to though. Don't take 30% when 40% is there for the offering. So when did you last perhaps send gold for 3,000? Have you ever done 3,000? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe you've only gone halfway to getting that. But, it is available for everybody to be able to do that. And it's still really working part-time hours. So with our compensation plan, I ask you to go back to it again, read it, understand it, and ask questions. Read it, understand, and ask. Read it, understand, and ask. Please don't ever, not, if you read something and you can't follow it, please ask for help. I ask for help every day with things that might be out of my league or whatever, and especially when it comes to sometimes with things with, Google Documents and Excel and a few other things like that I'm not really all that great with. And, people are really patient. And I love it when people ask me a question and when I ask someone else, that they embrace the fact that I have made the effort to ask is the first step. So please always ask and don't not understand, because you could be leaving money on the table. It could be just that one thing that you didn't know could be your money seed. But our compensation plan and our industry as well is an equal playing field. And I don't know all of you on the call personally to know what your lives look like. Some of you I do. But I do know that most of you are probably, young mums, you've got kiddies at home, and you're doing this instead of going back to work, or you could be working and then you're multi-skilling right now in your lunch break being on this call. But it is equal opportunity. There's nothing in that plan that says one person can be greater than the other, because it's the activity, it's the time and the activity that you put into that time is going to generate where you're going to lead to, because we get paid for our activity and not our time. So it's what you actually allocate to your business. So the other thing is having the right behaviours. And the right behaviours, fast start from the very beginning. So you with rank advancement. So when you look at that plan, have a look at what you receive when you get to lead consultant, like the $125. Look at what you get to senior lead consultant. What you get when you get to premier is $250, and then as team manager, have a look at that, because they're just the bonuses along the way, the rank advancement bonuses. But then, of course, getting paid 12% on your level 1 is just, again, that's the highest I've ever heard in the industry. I had a team of 2,500 people at one stage. And this is when I was doing, the 20-odd parties a week and so on, and I had a team of 2,500. And again, everything was done on the snail trail, where you didn't have the technology and email out to groups and things like that. But I only earned 5%. I only got paid on level 1. Whereas we then, along our compensation plan, once especially as executive, you've got the overall generation bonuses, but getting up to TMs and above and so on, getting paid 3, 4, 5 deep is just amazing. So know where the money is. Don't not do something because you didn't know. So remember then to ask for help. Now, first off then, getting to becoming a lead consultant making machines. So you may be lead consultant already, and maybe you're not maintaining that level already, or maybe you're a team manager and not maintaining that level for whatever reason, whatever place that you are in the business. If you've done it once, you can do it again. So as an example, you've done $1,000 party. Whoa, that's just fantastic. If you've done it once, it's not an accident. You've got to look at what you did to make that work. Sometimes it can be the right place at the right time. But when you've done something once, you can do it again. So don't let yourself off the hook. Don't ever think it was a fluke. Because you did that action to get to lead consultant. Maybe it's because you were more driven, or to get to team manager, more driven to get there. But don't see the compensation plan as a resting place. It's like, oh, I've reached here, I'm just going to stop now and pause for a minute and breathe. It's about continually doing the same action that got you to rank advance in the first place. And you will find then that your whole business will have a different meaning. And then it becomes a habit. Consistency creates a habit. And I don't know whether you've ever heard of this expression. Within 30 days in your life, you can change something that's not right in your life and create a new habit. If you decided right now that you were going to swap your shoes over, right? Just say you've got running shoes and you swap the shoes over. So instead of the left, you put it on the right and the other way around. You start walking around the house, you're going to fall around. Do you know within 30 days that you can actually wear those shoes without an issue? Not that the shoes actually change the direction of whether, the soles or whatever. Your brain actually starts telling your feet what to do. And that might sound a bit crazy, but within 30 days, if you change your patterns of behaviour, it could be someone that's a smoker or, drinks too much or whatever it might be that's in your life, that's something, you really like to adjust, that can happen. It's whether or not that you're an exercise person. And, if you exercise and did something every day for 30 days, as opposed to doing nothing for 30 days, your mind, your brain, your body has actually created a new habit of behaviour. So again, don't make the compensation plan a resting place. But if I was to simplify, and I know I'm haven't got all circles on the screens to do this as a science experiment, but just as an example, if you simplify getting to team manager and getting to executive, is getting to lead consultant is the first step. So once you're at lead consultant, you've got to create two of you. So if you look at the compensation plan, you've got to balance two legs of the organisation. Two legs. Now, you're always getting to lead. You can get there with one strong leg and one weaker leg, because remember, they only just have to be active to get those two active legs. So just remembering then, you need to have the balance of the two strong legs. If you looked at yourself in your body standing up and you stood on one leg, you're going to start wobbling, and that's exactly what happens in your business if you don't keep working with the two. You can get a rock star that can come in and all of a sudden you're working with that rock star, wow, and then all the attention goes on that person. You've got to straight away, the moment that you know you've got someone strong, find that other strength on the right hand or the left hand side, whichever way you want to determine it. So lead consultant to get to TM is creating two of you. So now you're a TM. This is simplifying it. As a TM then, you then need to create two of you. So two TMs then getting to executive. Now remembering with that strength, you've got to make sure, this is extremely crucial, and some of you on the call are aware of this, extremely crucial to make sure that the two strong legs to get to executive. And you can get the volume because you're building a big organisation, but you do need the two strong managers. Sorry, just for interrupting. Someone's just texted me that's on the call. Oh, sorry, it's Cheryl. You're on the call. I don't know why you're texting. Sorry, I'll keep on moving. Sorry to interrupt everybody there. So, okay, so I just thought it was about something I was saying, or you mightn't be able to hear me or something. I might just check in with you, Tamara. Is everyone able to hear me? Tamara?
Yep, it's going perfectly. I can hear everything.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'll mute you again. Alrighty, so that's making it really simple though. Remember, get to lead consultant, two people duplicate what you are, two people to get to lead. The two leads then get you to team manager, creating two of you. And I know it takes work and it takes all sorts of other things that are going to happen in this little puzzle, but that's again trying to simplify our compensation plan. Okay, so that's where the money is. So the next thing is, you've always heard me refer to the focusing on the 3 Bs plus 1. So the business, the booking, and the buyer and beyond. Now, if you embrace this, and as simple as those 4 words are, if you embrace that and have that in the forefront of your mind, even if you have it in your diary every day or whatever you look at, maybe have it as a screensaver for a bit. I don't care what you do, is knowing that that is the order of importance of our business. And always remembering that whether it's handing out a sample, whether it's talking to a stranger on a plane, it doesn't matter what it is, the product leads you to the conversation. So the product is always important because that's where the business conversation will come from. But you chose the business. You're not a customer sitting on this call right now. You chose the business. And so therefore, every time that you're getting an opportunity for conversation, you need to make sure that people know what they're saying no to if they're not interested in the business. So I'll talk about this a little bit further throughout our call, but that's your focus. And the beyond are the referrals. So as a buyer, so as a business, they're leading you obviously to the people they know. As a booking, you're leading to customers, potential customers, through who they know. But as a buyer, that could be the last part of your story with them. But if you then use the opportunity of asking for referrals, that can lead you back to someone that could be interested in the business. So the beyond are your referrals. Network marketing, and we call it network marketing as opposed to direct sales, and that's been a switch in wording over maybe the last 14, 15 years because of the word network. Network marketing is we form networks of people, and technology has caused that to be that word as opposed to direct selling means direct to the public, but forming networks of people, forming an empire as Tamara is doing. So a network of people. And as a network of people, you might have 2,500 Facebook friends. You might have 250 Facebook friends. You know, my son's got more than me, and that's because he's so much younger. So this is where people are getting more and more networks of people are enabling you to then be able to be a very strong referral-based business. Most people that joined in Australia and New Zealand when we commenced last year joined as a result of not knowing the person that signed them up. And that was through either referrals or through that word networking again. Now, we're in a different stage of our business, and the great thing is we can still meet strangers through our networks and through Facebook and social media. However, we are now got the opportunity that a lot of people are hearing about Jamboree and wanting to find out more about us. So trust me, we're the talk of the town. And so people are coming to us with curiosity. And, you know, and it's great actually because it's now becoming a product you don't really need to explain to people. So focus on the 3 Bs plus 1. So let's think, keeping it simple. And these are the 3 skills. These are the only 3 skills. Okay, you can learn personal development. You can go online and you can do, obviously you've got your JamU and you've got your hostess coaching and all those things are important. But the simplicity of it is the selling of the product and the sponsoring and the samples. You may be wondering why I've got sales before sponsoring. It's just purely part of the path of being a product of the product from the very, very beginning. So let's talk about the sales. So I don't want you to be your best customer. You know, okay, I understand that we all get very excited about the products and, you know, you want to buy something for yourself. Crikey, so, you know, I looked at the new catalogue on Friday and the company said to me, Barb, you can place an order. And I thought, oh, yeah, you know, I was excited about that, of course, but, you know, I thought I'd probably find 5 or 6 wraps that I really liked of the new products. And I mean, I got up to about 25 and I've still got these little stumpy fingers and I don't even look fantastic with the wraps on just yet. But, you know, I just couldn't get enough of it. And I've got to tell you, some of those designs, I can't wait to get Secret Garden, but I shouldn't say that to you because then all of a sudden you're going to tell everyone to buy Secret Garden as well. You do have to be a product of the product, and that is obviously buying the product. But with saying that, though, you've got so many gorgeous wrap designs. I would encourage you to spend the money instead of maybe on that next wrap that you love on something else that you don't have in your range. Maybe it might be a great team thing to do. What's your favourite product week outside the wraps? And then finding out why people love it. And I know at some of the meetings I've been raving about the smoothing base coat. Now, I only just got that a couple of months ago, and I can't believe how much better when I put the lacquer on my toes that it goes on. So just being the product with that, making sure that people have already started using the remover and the cleanser and the quick dry, and all those other gorgeous products that we do have. And as a product of the product, obviously you've got a desk space where you work. I know with technology, we're walking around, we've got phones and we've got iPads and things like that. But I'm sure, though, at some stage you've got a desk space. Well, I certainly have. And sitting in front of me right now, even though I'm not a salesperson with Jamboree, I have the product all around me. It's all around me. It is my focus every single day. So, and this is what obviously you may or may not know that I was involved with jewellery for most of my career. So when I would be sitting at my desk, I would always make my phone calls in the one place, and that was near my workstation. So it was a desk, it was a private room that I then felt that I was a business person when I got on the call. I would have a big dollar sign. I'd have a big dollar sign on my desk, and I still got it actually on my corkboard, but a big dollar sign, because every time I rang someone up, there was a possibility she could lead me to $1,000 in business. And that was through, the ongoing parties from that person saying yes. If you really worked it out, everyone that has said yes to you, what they have led you to, because you know how it links you to other people who lead you to other people who lead you to other people. So yeah, I would have that dollar sign. The other thing is I would have is my favorite product, not just a product, my favorite product. So right now, because I am trying to nourish my hands a lot more, is obviously the cuticle oil, and I'm putting that on 2 and 3 times a day. So that's sitting there because that is making me focus on the product, even though, as I said, I'm not a salesperson. So that could be a good thing for you to do, and it keeps your enthusiasm up. Now, with your VIP group, with your sales, when you first started, I'm sure you keep on adding to that VIP group, but it's really important to ensure that as a customer, they only become loyal to you, really loyal to you, on the 3rd time purchased. Now, this is quite a very common sales statistic, that they're not loyal until a 3rd purchase. So you have a little bit of a think about that. If you're buying from somewhere, and you might be buying from someone from Norwex or Enyo or Party Light or whatever company you might be a customer with, by the 3rd time, that person, you've built up a loyalty with that person that you're buying from. But if you flip it to you being the consultant now, that's when you build up that loyalty of that brand and then continue to stay loyal to the product. I buy quite a lot of direct selling products, I guess because I like to support the industry. The products are always better. So I use Amway washing powder, Intimo lingerie, I got Sensi warming all around my house. I definitely do have a cupboard full of Tupperware. I wear a unique mascara, and anyway, we could keep on going on and on and on. But you see, I have become loyal to the one, though, that follows up with me. If I buy from a direct selling person and they don't follow up, I will, even if I love the product, I will find another consultant. And I could give you a list of times that I've done that when I haven't been looked after, I haven't been followed up, and I've gone and sourced direct to the company for someone else to look after me. So people do expect service. So remember then with your VIPs, keep on adding to them. And, and it might even be just very simply, you might have, whether it's on your iPhone, whether it's on your phone, or if you've got an old-fashioned little notebook in your handbag or whatever, making sure whenever you've got any wait time, and it could be, pick up at school, or you're in a surgery, doctor's surgery, or wherever you might be where you've got that wait time, it could be 5 minutes before you get on this webinar or whatever. They're little lead times and wait times. Just brainstorm with yourself and keep on adding to that list. Keep on thinking about, who do I know, who do they know, and who knows them. And if you say that over and over and over again, I'll just sort of jumping off track there slightly. Like someone said to me, a couple of people have said about Mexico, I'm not bothering with Mexico, I don't know anyone there. You know what? I don't know anyone there either. But I was talking to someone just coming back from Thailand only recently, and I was talking to this person on the plane, and as I do, and can I just ask you, where are you going to stay in Brisbane, or you're on holidays or whatever, and say, oh no, in actual fact. And then the person started talking, and she has a housemaid who is from Mexico. And so I said, you know what, she'll know people in Mexico. Are all her family still there? Yes, they are. So you don't know seriously where conversations lead to. So never put blinkers on anything that can be a possibility, because the other thing is with the cross-border sponsoring, you fill out your claim form for that. You should already have it for UK and US and Canada and Mexico. Because even if you don't know anyone there, the moment that you do that, it's such a small expense that opens up your mind for the possibilities and makes you start conversations and so on. Okay, so the other thing just to move on with now is the right now. Okay, so sorry, I was talking about VIP. So right now is going back over your customers. And you may or may not have seen the thread I put on Facebook only recently, where I offered my Queen Bee wraps for the top 3 conversations about how they're reaching back to past hostesses. And what was really interesting there is there's a lot of threads of people coming through just saying they've private messaged or they've texted or they've gone on their VIP group and sort of spreading it to the cast of thousands and expecting people to come to them. Now, I will share that when I did that, when I went to the DSA conference in March this year, we had a social media expert. She was in her early 20s and she was really switched on cookie. She was just amazing and talking about, direct selling in general, sales in general, and how to best use social media and technology. And one of the things was very, very clear that nothing replaces verbal communication. Face-to-face is number 1, and then the phone is number 2. Now, we're probably sitting there and you're all nodding your head and thinking, oh, Barbara, that's not rocket science. But you know what? It has become rocket science. It has become something that's not the norm anymore. So I had a thread of around about 80 posts all about, reaching out via social media, right, and to the VIP groups, and maybe posting catalogues, but then not necessarily having any plan of follow-up. And then we switched it. I just sort of said, well, look, has anybody actually got on the phone? And then it started a whole thread of people that were actually getting on the phone. And the results were just incredible. And Chelsea Davey, that did get the number 1 there, she had already booked in the last 48 hours. She got on the phone to her VIP customers, her ex-hostesses, got on the phone, physically got on that phone, and she ended up with 10 bookings. She's now up to 14 bookings, by the way, because I told her to keep me in touch as to how she's going because she hadn't finished it. And then and there were others that started to say that. So please remember, you know what? It's only scary for you because technology has caused us to not be great at talking on the phone. It has caused us to be a little bit inhibited about how we are able to communicate on the phone. I know it with my own children. I've got a 35-year-old and a 38-year-old, and most of my communication with them is texting. And, it just seems so weird to me, but I know I need to do that in the way that I communicate with them when they want to know something and so on and so forth. However, then moving forward, though, that doesn't work if you're needing to get a yes from someone, if it's a sales pitch or if it's booking in a party. The few things, especially that happen is you get the opportunity of emotion. There's less chance of them saying no because it's saying no to someone's voice and a person they're saying no to. It's easy to say no in a text. So easy to say no in a text. It's also easier to just to ignore the message completely. You don't get any response. You don't even get a chance to follow through any further. But you get the emotion, you get the tone in the voice, you get your own excitement. It's hard. You can type the word excited, but you can't say it any better than I am just so excited about what I've just got in front of me that I just had to share it with you, and I know you're going to love it too. See? Wouldn't you say yes to that more so than getting that in a 20-word text? So, I am just so excited and I just had to share it with you. And then you might get a no. So, oh, look, Barb, it's really not something that I can do right now. I've got 10,000 children or this is happening. And say, hey, listen, that's okay. I hope you saw it as a compliment because I knew you would really love what I'm seeing myself. But look, while I've got you, you may have met people that have admired your rap so far. Is there anyone you could recommend me to? And you very rarely get the no twice. So then you've got an opportunity of then building a referral business. And so would it be okay if I gave her a call? Would you let her know I'm going to give her a call? Or let her know, can I have her telephone number? And yes, absolutely. I have had my best business given to me by referrals because that person that felt awkward saying no bends over backwards to find someone else that will say yes for you. The other opportune thing is that you've got the opportune time of being able to say, that other person might be saying, so how's your business going, Cheryl? How's your business going, Tamara? So you weren't even planning on them saying that. You've rung because you got a new product. And then you could say, oh, I'm so glad that you have asked me that and thank you. It's absolutely amazing. I had no idea it was going to be this good. I don't know. Since we last spoke, Cheryl, is it something that you've thought you'd like to find out more about? So again, that's the difference in the voice. That's the difference. And that's just talking on the phone. So the phone is not scary. It's the voice at the other end of the phone. So once you've picked it up, up that phone, put it to your ear, and then you're waiting for her to answer. That's the scary time. It's the scary time and nothing's happening. It's just air. It's when she answers and your excitement. I've never to this very day had anyone ever rude to me or hang up on me on the phone. But you need to be able to handle the objection, be able to have that mechanism that you can go back and say, that's okay. That's okay. Thank you for your honesty. Look, that's no worries at all. But you know what? Someone will have noticed your raps and who do you know and so on and so forth. And away you go again. So let's increase your sales. Now, first off then, what would you determine is what I call a wow party. So a wow party is when you can walk away from a party, this is a home party maybe or an online party, and you can close it off and you could say to yourself, well, that was pretty ordinary. Or you might say, well, that was a dud. Or you might say, wow, that was a great party. So what is your benchmark? So you need to actually know what that looks like so that you've got the opportunity to be able to say, wow, that was great. So in my teams that I've had, I would always refer to a wow party and people would ring me and say, Barb, I did a wow party last night. And I would know, I'd have records of my team to know for her that was 750. For such and such, it was 650. For such and such, it was 500. And so, wow, I did a wow party last night. Good on you. So what is your wow? So it's always got to have 2 bookings plus 2 people to talk to about the business. So it might be 500 plus 2 is your wow. You might then have done a 750 and you thought, wow, it's a double wow. But once you've done it, you can do it again. So look at what happened at that wow party so that you can repeat the same behaviours that caused it to be so great. And it all comes down to your hostess coaching and building on that party. You get one chance at that party and make it great. When you're there, be there. Give it your all when you're there. Leave behind any of the troubles. I used to find doing my parties was like therapy. It seriously was. I could be leaving with all the stresses of the world in my home, with the kids not wanting to have their bath and, they've got chewing gum in their hair or something's happened and, whatever it might be. Life happens. All right, or your husband saying you're going out again. All of these things I've had to put up with. But you know what? I drive in that car, I get to that party, I put some pumping music on, and it used to be Eye of the Tiger. That shows how old I am. You probably don't even know that song, so Google it. So I used to put this music on, and then when I arrived, I was there. And I left everything behind because I owed it to my hostess to do my very, very best. And then by the time the party had finished, and it was great result, I'm driving home with that music on still, feeling really fantastic, get in the door, and they're all asleep, and you think, thank goodness for that, and then life's gone on back to the way it was before. And you've actually you've flushed out all that negativity and stress that you felt before you left. So I owe it, my sanity in my life, I think, to doing lots and lots of parties. But okay, so with your hostess coaching, let's build up your party average, and it might be sitting on 400 right now. Let's make it 500. Let's make it 600. Raise the bar. Now, the way you can do that is tweaking a few different behaviours. building on your attendance, building on the number of outside orders. We've got a catalogue, even though, okay, I love the catalogue before better than this one. We won't go into that. That's my personal opinion. Is this current catalogue, though, you know, as a customer, I don't know that there's missing wraps in there and I've got to go online. There's enough gorgeous ones in there. I can already see what I'd buy. And even if I didn't know anything about the wraps, I would still buy lacquers. I would still buy, you know, the indulgent set and all those sort of things. If I can't attend a party, I will always purchase if I'm asked. But of course I won't purchase if I'm not asked. And I'm not necessarily, I am sort of a shopaholic, but I love supporting other people. And so whenever I'm asked, I will ask to see that catalogue and I will place an order without any doubt. And our average order, what is your average order? So say it's $75, which most people say it is. And some of the statistics I'm getting, it's around about that when people are buying the three, buy three, get one free. Okay, so with your average order, what if you raise that average order and look at your add-ons that you can have? We've now got Remover is a great add-on and so on. And then the other thing is with the catalogue orders, with the outside orders, does your hostess have a goal? Is it 5 outside orders? Don't ever make it like $200 in outside orders. Make it a number of order goal because you're going to find it higher. So number of orders, getting outside bookings already. Goaling for your 2 bookings at your party. What if you increased your attendance? Say your average attendance now is 8. What if it was 10? And out of the extra 2 people, only 1 person orders. But out of the extra 2 could be your next, you can talent scout. It could be your next sponsor that you can join up. So always remembering to look at all the possibilities because it's just tweaking behaviours. Small behaviour changes can make a difference. And you will see that if you can raise that bar of the number of people attending and then the number of outside orders. And that comes about with your hostess coaching. So just as an example though, say you do 5 parties a month and you increased it by 100 each. That's then straight away, that's going to be $500. So it's like doing a whole new party just by tweaking the behaviours of the current ones that you're doing. So then with sponsoring, obviously, they're everywhere, and we know that. And we're a walking advertisement with sponsoring because people can see what our business is. This is your business on the end of your hands. That's your business. It's your business card. It's everything about whatever we do. So sponsoring, though, has got to be a habit. It's got to be a habit to consistently expect behaviours of sponsoring. And so if you want to jot down, if you may never have introduced 4 into your team in 1 month, you may have introduced 8, 10, 15 in 1 month. And I know that some of you have. But with 4, you grow. With 3, it flows. And with 1, it's slow. Because if that one is one of those ones that just, doesn't want to do very much and is in your bottom 15% in our team dynamics as an example, you need to have that 2 to 3 for it to keep on pumping. It must keep on pumping. So, go back to the behaviours of, very, very minimum to introduce 2 or 3 people into your team if you want to grow your business. And I know, again, the fact that you're on this call, you're not here just to have a listen because there's nothing else to do. You are obviously keen to grow your business. So 4, you grow, 3, it flows, 1, it's slow. And then if you are then a team manager, have a team goal. But sponsoring is socially, strangers through your samples and at parties. So because I've concentrated a little bit on the parties, this is where definitely you're getting your sponsors from, is from the very, very beginning, everybody needs to be exposed to the fact that you're working right now. And so just simply using the words, watch what I do, I'm working right now, and just see how easy it is to be me and to be a Jamboree consultant. So that's so much better than saying, hey, my name is Tamara Slade and I'm a team manager, I'm this and I'm that and whatever. It's sort of like no one cares. But hey, watch what I do. I'm actually working right now. And I'd love you to see how easy it is to be me and to be a Jamboree consultant. Now, using words like that, you can use them over and over and over again. And this is why let's not complicate it. Have yourself a set script that's what you say then. Halfway through the party could be, so Have you noticed how easy it is to do my job? It's pretty easy. I just want to share with you, I don't know whether you've noticed everything I've got on the table today. Yeah, when I first started, it was only a $143 investment, and it still is that same investment today. And I had no idea what it was going to lead me to. So I'd love to fill you in more about that later on. And then you move on again back to the product. So it's drip feeding information about sponsoring. And then at the very end of the presentation, so at the beginning, open up their minds. Halfway through, how do you feel it's going so far? And then finally, there's 3 ways to be part of Jamboree. Thank you so much for your time today. And it's obviously, you've watched what I have done, and that this is my work. It's as simple as that. I'd love to share with you more about what it's like to be a Jamboree consultant. Second best way to be part of Jamboree is doing exactly as Tamara has done today, as inviting me into your home. And I'd love to be able to share with your friends the same experience. I don't pay for the hostess gifts, and I love to give lots away. So I'm here to work for Tamara today. So thanks again for that. And then, of course, you're going to love the products, and, we love our buyers as well. And so what I do share with you, though, if you don't choose to book with me today, you'll know people I will never, ever get to meet. It would be such an honour if you would recommend me. And then, so you've exposed then the 3 ways to be part of Jamboree at the end. So the next big part of then is sponsoring, is the follow-up. When you get anybody showing any interest whatsoever, it's not really the forum or the platform to sit there at the home party and start going over and over what it's like, although that's when they're really keen. What I suggest that you do there is, hey, now's not really the time. I'm here to look after Tamara and the sales and things like that. But let's organise a coffee appointment. So if they live locally, great thing is about home parties, most of the people that you will meet will be actually in that particular area. So you could go and have a coffee with them. But remember, you can have a Skype coffee. You can have a coffee and get on Skype and do things together. But please also jot this down, is when someone ever shows interest in joining, please do not lead them to the website to find out information. You need to be the one to share the information. Now, our website is very user-friendly, lots of great information. But the next best way of doing that, if you can't sit down and share information with them, say, when do you think that you'll be able to go online and have a look? Because I'd like to guide you through the process. When do you think that you will go online and have a look? So it leads it to then be an appointment, the same as a coffee appointment would be. When someone said to me the other day about they find it really difficult, they've got all these leads, as they call them, and they're not starting. They don't know how to get them started. Easy peasy. When would you like to start earning an income? So you meet someone today, Tuesday. When would you like to start earning an income? And that's the other benefit of getting paid weekly. They could do a launch party tomorrow night. They could do a launch party tonight. When do you want to start earning money? And that will tie them in. I've never heard of anyone say, oh, look, next year. They want to say right now. Okay, let's do it. Let's get you started fast and hard. This is what it's going to look like. Okay, just looking at some of these notes I haven't been looking at until now. All right, so there's also listening for signals when you're at a party, and it's a big key thing about sponsoring is, you could go searching for people, but you know what? They're searching for you. If you just listen to people's conversations, they're actually got a big banner across their forehead that's saying, I want to find out more, because they're going to say things like, oh, I'm just so busy. And you see, people love saying that because it makes them sound really important. And so when they say words like, oh, I'm just so busy and whatever, say, oh, so tell me, what is it in your life that's making you so busy? And then it might just be, oh, I've got to go to work and I've got 2 kiddies and I've got this and that. And so, if you had the opportunity to not be at work and be home with the kiddies, would you enjoy doing something like that? Oh, absolutely. If only I could, but I got bills and that. So you know what? And then that's when you can lead into your sponsoring talk. It might just be, does your husband mind you going out at night? And again, she's not thinking about about your husband. She's thinking about herself. I wonder what Adam or George or Charlie, whatever, would think about me going out at night and working. So these are people that are coming to you with a general conversation that we can miss just by not thinking about them and thinking about us. Always put yourself in their body and in their body, in their mind, and they've got this banner on their forehead, I want to know more about what you're doing. And so the best sponsoring tool that I can ever give you is I want what she's having. And what does that look like? I want to live the life of Tamara Slade. What does that look like? And if Tamara's looking pretty stressed and not loving life, oh, I don't know whether I'd want to join her team. So it's about I want to live the life of that person. So you, every time that you go out, every time that you're exposing yourself and being a Jamboree consultant, you know, you need to know that people are thinking, I want to live the life of Cheryl. I want to live that life because that's something. So you need to make sure your own persona is delivering the right messages. And then, of course, then with the samples, I know I cover this over and over and over at meetings and so on with samples and how to give them out. But the key message is making sure you get the telephone number. You come with the sample. You need to do that because it's a product that maybe just the first time they apply it mightn't be any good. It mightn't work properly for them. And so that's the reason that you get the telephone number. So I can ensure that your first experience is a great one. Let's exchange telephone numbers. And if ever anybody doesn't give you a telephone number, don't give them the sample. So, well, you know what? I have a duty of care to our product to make sure it is a good experience so our reputation stays intact. Mostly it is, but I do like to follow up. But that's okay. And I just would not give them a sample. So that might sound a bit strict, but I would rather give out 20 samples and have 20 telephone numbers exchanged than another additional 10 where they don't give you the telephone number and you've got nowhere to go. You've got no follow-up with them. You don't know whether they've tried it. You don't know whether they've had a good experience. They might try it, love it, and go to someone else. So always make sure that you get that telephone number. And then, of course, finally, the killer secret. So the killer secret is consistency. Consistency of the right activity and not the wrong activity. So the wrong activity would be not getting the telephone number, not getting on the phone if you want to rebook people. The right activity is obviously income producing activity and not just being on Facebook, knowing how to utilize your time. And then the other thing is obviously too with our company, we've got the consistency bonus that we have at the moment where this is a 9-month program. And there was a girl only yesterday, a consultant yesterday I was talking to, she said, oh, wow, I love that. She said, because for the last 9 months, that's exactly what I did in my business. And hats off to her. That's just amazing. So, you know, so obviously she straight away said, well, I can do it again. So making sure, because that's been put there to give you a really good behaviour of 900 plus 2. But after what I've shared with you today, that's easy, isn't it? You're going to do that. Now, I'm going to just pause for a second because I haven't been able to look at any questions and just see if there's any questions. So I want you to put in right now, is 900 plus 2 easy or hard? Good on you. 4 easies. That's great. That's really great. Okay. Look, I need to finish off. I've got a call right on 2 o'clock with someone. So just finding then, the right activity. Well, there you go. There's that on the slide. Home parties, online parties, fundraisers, samples, and follow-up. Jamboree's on your side. The How to Cook That collection. Aren't they so cute? I just love the little girl ones. I like them all. I think they're all really great. So I don't know whether any of you have ordered them yet and have already got them, but they are really cute designs. So they will be ongoing, so that's great. And then, of course, we've got the new indulgence set. That picture's a bit wonky, but I love the new design that they have with the new indulgence set. And, of course, we've got the removers. We've got all the gorgeous wraps that have come on for this month that are available, and reaching out to your customers. Make sure you stock up on a lot of catalogues. You know, don't look at the cost of the catalogue. Our catalogues are actually the cheapest of any in the industry, so don't look at the fact that you've got to pay shipping on it. Use your marketing credits. be a businesswoman and really make sure. And then I will say, make sure the catalogue works for you. So always follow up. Don't give out a catalogue without following up at all. Okay, I just want to share it's doable. It's not impossible with consistent and persistent work. Good on you. Yes, love them. What do you do about people who don't answer your calls or return them? Okay, interesting there, and that is the downside of telephones. But when I get someone's telephone number, I always establish when is a good time to call without any doubt. And then when you ring, is this a good time to call? If they don't answer, for whatever reason, I would send them a message to say, I rang at 4. From memory, that was a good time to call. Give me a new good time to call. When you're handing out samples, please let me know, when do you think that you will apply the sample? And then they might say Saturday. Okay, terrific. What about if I call you at 11 just to follow up with your experience? How does that sound to you? So make sure that you ask for the time that they're going to. When do you think that you'll apply the sample? Or otherwise it's like a skipping rope. When do I call? When do I call? Wonder if she's put it on yet. So when do you think you'll apply the wrap? So, look, I ask you to, I'm not a massive big reader of books and things like that, but I do really embrace, and I've got the audio of a book called GoPro by Eric Worre, Worre, I think it is. And, look, it's just really good. I listened to it on the plane, and he actually talks in there about some of the things that I've done in my business myself that I didn't even realise was written in books, but it's just more about that follow-up. When do you think is a good time to call? When do you think you'll go to the website? So you don't have to worry about capturing when people are available. Oh, Carrie just said, I just figured out how I can comment on this page. Okay, look, I'm just going to, where are you, Tamara? Just opened up to Tamara. Then right now I've unmuted you, Tamara, because I do have to jump on another call. So is there anything in particular that you did want me to cover? Again, I've only got 1 minute.
Yeah, that's okay, Barb. Everything that you've shared today has been fabulous, and I love how you kind of bring us back to the basics, to go back to that handing out the samples, to following up with those customers, and especially I really love the whole following up with the catalogue, because that's not something that I have really done very well in my life either. Or in my business, is following up with people who take catalogues from parties and who take catalogues from me just when I'm out and about. So that's a really good point to make, and something that I am just going to start absolutely putting into practice as well.
Oh, that's good. Just remember then on the catalogue, you can get the catalogue snitches, and I've been around for that. It used to really annoy me. So don't get annoyed by it because you never know where it might go. But with
Yeah.
catalogue, especially, when you've got someone at a party that it's a cop-out, I know. They say, oh, look, I'll go and look at the website. And that's a little bit why I didn't like all the items being in the catalogue, because it leads them to the website. So when do you think you will go to the website? Because I'd like to make sure I'm available should you have any questions. Or it might
Yeah,
even
that's
be
great.
taking that extra step and if she might say tomorrow night, say, you know what, why don't we get on together and I can help you? It
Yeah,
might
that's all
be extra
brilliant advice.
time, but see, time equates to money. Time really does equate to money. And sometimes when you think, oh, I'm not going to take that extra step, it's sometimes that extra step that you do is the money seed. And I know
Yeah.
if it were me and someone said, look, I'd like to help you through it or be available should you have any questions, I'd find that really nice service and customer service as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You're right. I have not experienced, not one person that I've actually spoken to on the phone, I have not experienced anyone being rude to
No.
me when I've called the follow-up. Not one.
No, definitely not. All right, look, I do have to go. So thank you to all. This is recorded. So I've got several calls this afternoon, tomorrow. So I'll sneak it through in Dropbox to you this afternoon.
No worries. Thank you so much, Barb. We just so appreciate your time.
No worries. And to everybody, have a great day, a great September, and more than happy to have helped you. And I hope I did. Even one word might help you. That's enough for me. Thank you.
Bye.